April 2nd edition of the Jericho Selectboard meeting. In order to make our meeting more efficient, we are limiting public comment to the beginning of the meeting, the public to be heard section. Selectboard meetings are in the public, not of the public. Please do not use the chat on Zoom for anything other than technical issues. Please be respectful, and please keep your public comments to 3 minutes or less. With that said, is there any public to be heard?
Yes, sir.
I don't know who's first.
Your name, please? I forgot to join the Zoom meeting. I'm going to do that now. Go ahead.
Jeffrey Rector from 43 Boulder Hill Road.
Oh, we
Jericho.
spoke on the email.
I
Okay,
did.
sure.
I'm here to meet everybody.
Cool.
Do you want me to come to the table?
You don't have to.
Okay,
If you'd like to, and that's
You're
more
welcome
comfortable,
to.
you're welcome to, but you don't have to.
I do, because I'm structured.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
And I don't want to take a lot of the time. That's my first select board meeting ever attending, so thank you for what you do. I know it's not always fun. I did attend the DRB meeting last week. And some items came up in the DRB. And as I was reviewing a lot of the documentation and regulatory stuff that governs the town. There are some inconsistencies. And I don't know who reports to who, because the website really doesn't say that, the DRB reports to the select board, the town administrator reports here. I don't know that. I'm sorry, but I didn't get that.
It's not
However-
particularly clear, so go ahead.
However, and I'm planning on attending a meeting in May. I'm on the calendar to attend here a select board meeting and get down on the agenda, and there'll probably be more people from our road attending as well. It's more about procedure and it's more about public safety for the town and liability and protection. And I say that because there's a proposed development on the top of Boulder Hill Road, 105 Boulder Hill. And they're looking to put it's actually 4 lots, 3 dwellings. The question is, who owns Boulder Hill Road? It's a class 3 road until the end of what is called the maintenance corridor, where there's a turnaround, which is a driveway, private driveway. And then there's a class 4 road that goes all the way up to the range border. At that intersection, the new property owner owns a flagpole style lot that goes out about 600 feet and down into their property. The proposal, and it's on the DRB site, says that they're going to develop the road, Boulder Hill Road, where it's a class 4 road. My question to whoever, because we didn't get the answer at the DRB and it's not in the proposal, who's developing that and then who's going to maintain it? Because it is, I believe technically it's still our road. And if the town is allowing this developer to now take over that end of the road,
You say out in town, you mean the property owners on Boulder Hill?
the property owner has been given on the plat review, the final plan. Looks like they're gonna take over the road where it becomes a class 4 at the intersection where it says class 3 to class 4. If
Is
that
that
is
just below the Malgren?
DPHO and what's that?
Is that just below the Malgrens? Where is that?
No, it's actually almost all the way to the top. So you have the Pasadante and the DPHO properties, and then it's about 400 feet of logging road that goes up to intersect the Underhill, Jericho, the range, the firing range. And then correct.
Yeah.
It is not a passable road at this time. Looks like from the plan that they're gonna try to develop it to make it a driveway. So it's not even a road, it's gonna be a driveway. So that's where it gets a little confusing in the regulatory guidance. And I'm gonna talk about this on May 7th, so please understand, I'm just trying to lay the foundation. With that being said, that entire area up there is wetland or vernal pool. And to make it a private driveway requires certain amounts of widths and length and depths and grading and water containment, and it doesn't pass the common sense test. Okay, and there's a lot of things in the guidance that says the select board has the final say or can approve a waiver, or they can overrule the DRB if they have. Also, procedurally, if you've ever been on the website, now we can't probably call it up here, Jericho Town website. There's a lot of inconsistencies on where you get the guidance to apply for certain permits and other things. When you go to the DRB page and you go to the zoning and you scroll down, it says click here for application, click here for the current regulations. The links are empty. It goes to a folder, there's nothing in the folder. I'm just pointing that out because I couldn't find anything and I actually emailed. Are you Paula? I emailed you today because I was looking for some of the town road specs.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't, there's nowhere on the website.
Yeah, we just switched over to a new website.
Like I said-
We're working on it, but
I'm
you
just
should be
trying to-
able to find some information.
And I even
Yeah.
searched in the right corner, Public Works and nothing.
Yeah.
So anyway. To continue, the permit for access, application for access permit to develop anywhere in Jericho. It's very clear, looks like it's a very well done document. Even has the mailbox specifications. Access standards, they're also highlighted in the Jericho. The development regulations. Very consistent. However, when you look at the website for the DRB and the proposed developments that are happening, there, some of the packets that, I'm not sure who loads them on the website. Some of them have a lot of information and some have a little bit of information. And then, and it says, I believe, that the access permit has to be either approved or reviewed prior to final approval, I believe. I couldn't really find that, but that consistent with the application for what the individual applied for, 105 Wilshire Hill. There's some inconsistency there too, because the application, and I'm gonna leave all this with, I'm not gonna, the application states it's for a 4-lot subdivision. On the final plan review, a minor subdivision is 1 to 3 lots, and a major is a 4-lot or more. They've classified it, and I say they, planning, zoning, they've now said it's a minor. So they've downed it to a minor, so it doesn't require as much on the checklist, right? Another inconsistency. So as a concerned citizen and a Boulder Hill resident, I'm getting to my final point of safety. And the road up there, if anybody's been up Boulder Hill, is not a very easy navigatable road. It's very narrow at the start. It's a ledge, goes up the top, it's usually flat and muddy. Hard dogleg right turn, another incline to the top where you have the class 3 road ends and the class 4 road begins for another 400 feet. And that's where the range ends. Boulder Hill Road, I believe, is a dead end.
A little over 3 minutes, if you
Oh,
can wrap up.
Boulder Hill is a dead end road. It's not signed as a dead end road. It doesn't say it's a dead end road. In the plan that was submitted for the application, Mr. Flynn says it's not a dead end road. So it doesn't meet the requirements to make the turnarounds, the hammerheads, all the stuff that the Public Works document stated has to have. Yeah. Finally, safety wise, the fire department cannot get up there. There's absolutely no way. Because we just had a fire call in Boulder Hill. One of the residents had a chimney fire. Fire trucks came, could not get to the dwelling, had to call in mutual aid. I talked to the fire chief, explained, the situation. He said, "Yep, if we can't get to it, we can't do it." Right. So long story short, I asked if anybody approached him on the development of 105 Boulder Hill to see if he's going to go up there or anyone going to go up there and do an assessment to see if after 1,000 feet of private driveway, any kind of emergency apparatus could get there. He said he has not been. He will not do it. So I'll leave this with you. I apologize for going over 30 quick minutes. May 7th, I'm gonna ask the board, the select board, if they can please, I'm sure that the DRB is gonna try to render a decision. I would highly recommend that if you have a moment to just review the application or review the process, because there's probably gonna be people that come to you asking for appeal. I'm just letting you know that, just because of the inconsistencies made in the documentation for May 7th.
Did you ever email it or to all of us? I don't remember anything on
He was just stating emails about getting the
I'll read through.
Do you want me to leave this? Can I leave this, please? Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You can stay. We got a lot of fun stuff.
I'm gonna stay.
This is good.
I did public service for 30 years. I still work for the weather service and maybe some point I'll look to doing local.
Yeah.
public service.
Cool.
We love that.
Yep, come on up.
I'm continuing my 3-minute seminars. You saw this last time, and most of what I'm going to talk about right now is the 16%, which is in the 3 acres, and the 70% of Jericho, which is in the 10-acre zone. That division happens after the arch and the range. And this is a map of Jericho. And this is how it's all broken up. You can see this is the
Not there way on.
Point to your house at the pump.
I just, okay, so this is Skunk Hollow Road, that's 10 acres. And you can see almost all the lots are 10 acres, a lot of them are bowling alley lots. These agricultural, if you want a 10-acre farm here, you have to start with a $900,000 house as an investment. This is up, Old Pump Road. This is out Nashville Road. You can see that there's a lot of our 10-acre zoning has been broken up into 10-acre lots. On a 10-acre lot, there are no housing incentives that a 10-acre lot can take advantage of if there's a house already there. And there's no incentives that they can take if there's no house there, because the density is, you get a 50% bonus. If you don't build one house, you need 20 acres in the 10-acre zone in order to just get one house. This is how the 10-acre, and most of, a lot of the 3-acre are developed. So you want to build 9 houses, you need 90 acres or 100 acres, build a house on the road, you do that. Or you have these bowling alley lots, or you have square lots, all with one house. You can add an ADU, but that's it. These are, large 10-acre lots. The recommendation that you've already reviewed and sent to the planning commission that I want to talk about is the one that allows no additional land in PUDs for new houses or dwellings that are under 1,200 square feet. If you do that, you can have here, all this land is taken off the table forever for these 9 houses. Because you have to buy 10 lots or 9 lots. These houses are really expensive. This is what we get. This is, we just have one just finished, 9 houses, 3,500 square foot average cost of 1.1 million. That's what our zoning is designed to produce, and that's what it does. These 10-acre lots cost 300,000, 350,000. You can't put a $100,000 house on a $350,000 lot. You're never going to get it. You're never going to get it financed. That's why you have $900,000 houses on these 10-acre lots. What we're saying is that if you were to,
Who's we? What we were saying.
the recommendation that you received
Okay.
from the housing committee, I'm speaking for myself
Yeah,
tonight, but
yeah,
the recommendation that you have and that you reviewed. If you were to allow on a 10-acre lot, someone to build 1,200 square foot homes, you could have a, fourplex, you could have you have some small single family homes, and then this is still available. So maybe someone then takes that 90 acres and builds one of these. It doesn't rule out this. It just says that
Doesn't force it.
we could have that, and wouldn't that be great? Also says that in these places, you could add some smaller units to those 10-acre lots, which are enormous. And I think you want to just consider the sort of myth of everywhere when you allow some opportunity to people that somehow it's going to be, all of a sudden it's going to pop up everywhere. I think this is, and right now, rural life housing in rural areas for people with regular incomes is impossible right now. It's zoned out. It's really kind of specifically and intentionally zoned out.
Can you say that last sentence again?
Well, right now in 70% of Jericho.
No, what did you just say? You said it's intentionally zoned out, and I honestly I spaced out for a second on the first part
Yeah,
of
we're
that
very
sentence.
intentional. We don't want people with regular incomes living in rural areas.
Working class people are
Gotcha.
zoned out.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
yep,
have
yep.
made that impossible.
Yep.
Now, when I look at, say, West Bolton, it's a hell of a lot more rural than any part of Jericho, and they have a set of condos there, 40 of them on 6 acres with water and local water and septic. This idea that we want to concentrate people with regular incomes in village centers, because that's where water and sewer is going to be. you know, that's a little bit rich. Given that we're only talking about it at 1% of Jericho's land area. But it also says that, you know, that rural life is just off limits to, you know, a whole bunch of people. And we need to, I think we're kind of hung up on the idea that rural life means single family homes on large lots. That's our definition of rural life. It's the only kind of rural life that we can envision. We will forever be preventing people with regular incomes from living the rural life. Now, these clusters, we're really good at these clusters. We have P&Ds with clusters all over town. 9 houses, little cul-de-sac here, $1 million homes are surrounded by some vacant land, but we know how to do this. We know how to do PUDs, and I hope that you will resist it. I mean, the Jericho has a tendency, whenever it makes some kind of a concession to people who can't afford a large home on a large lot, we then apply like architectural standards and restrictions, and you have to count up certain architectural things to get points in order to get a zone, you know, to get a zoning permit. If you look at all the people on the housing committee, the planning commission, the select board, you're the only one who lives in a house that meets the architectural requirements in the village in Riverside.
That's why I bought it, actually.
Yes. So it took to get your own.
Thanks, Chuck.
So I encourage you to do this without trying to design houses, because we don't do it for people who have money.
Thank you.
Thank
Can I ask one follow-up question?
Yeah.
Quick follow-up question, Chuck, and and this is not a facetious question, this is a question for me to understand. If we made you king of town, if we said, you know what, great, Chuck, you're right about all this stuff. Tell us what do you want to do with the zoning regs?
I would start with the idea that you can build. I am reluctant to. I mean, the 10-acre zone could go to 5 acres, but I wouldn't knock it all down to 1 acre, because then you're gonna get a whole bunch of $500,000 houses on 1 acre. I would get serious about incentives to build modestly priced homes in the rural areas.
But can we incentivize that enough that it's gonna make some builder say, oh, I should build 10 small houses and not one $1.5 million house?
Well, right now it's illegal.
Yeah.
So I think the first step is to say, you know, let's make it legal.
Yeah.
And if I could build, say, for example, the Starbird condos, 8 condos on a little more than 1 acre, 4 groups of 4. Those are currently banned in 86% of Jericho's land area. Now, if I have to choose between 8 units that I can sell for $350,000, $400,000, or one 3,500 square foot home, you know, maybe a builder will.
Yeah.
We'll take an interest on that. And right now, we're effectively banning a mobile home park.
Mm-hmm.
We're banning innovation. I think the first step is to make it legal.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you.
Appreciate that question.
Next on the agenda is review and consider approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Town of Jericho and the Jericho Underhill Arts Council, which, by the way, is responsible for the art you see around the room here.
We have Catherine.
And we have our good friend Catherine joining us. Hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Catherine.
Hello.
Catherine, they're all terrible. Can you just come back? I can't stand them.
Well, it's not like I'm not going to go right back to bed after this, so. But I figured it'd be a little, it wouldn't be right if I didn't show up for my own MOU.
Yes, so do you want to say anything, Catherine, before we?
Well, what I could say is that I started with Claudine on this, and I gave her our current policies and procedures, our current participation agreement. and, to let her know what had been designed before. She worked very hard, but it really seemed very, I don't want to say the word off-putting, but it was very legalese and much more so than what we had before. Paula came to the house, and we worked on the memorandum using the policies and procedures that we currently use, which was written by a lawyer who was also an artist, and gave up being a lawyer to be an artist. And then it was approved by Todd and the prior lawyer to say that it was safe. Because the important thing is to keep reduce the liability for the town in case anything happens. Over the years since, I think, 2008, we started this. There's been one art piece that we said, no, you cannot actually show this in a public space. And then there was only one that somebody else complained about, but it was whimsical, and there was nothing.
Can't have that.
Yeah.
Catherine, you'll send us these pieces later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing was showing except the head, but it was a bathtub surrounded by lots of flowers and little woodland animals and things like that. But so, I mean, we really do try very hard. The key is, in terms of the new memorandum, we haven't developed ourselves as the Arts Council yet, but that's the first thing we're going to do. We're just still the Town Hall Art Project, but basically it is an Arts Council. And then we do hope, I don't know if it's still in the memorandum, we do hope to become a not-for-profit so we can get our own grants, but we'd like it someday down the road to be like what happened when we put up the art hanging system. The town was part of the grants so that, because it was the plein air festival that got the grant. That way we didn't have to do the paperwork in terms of doing the annual tax reporting that you have to do with a grant. But that's all to be worked out. But right now we don't have any money anyway, so it doesn't matter. But this is the MOU, and I could try to answer questions if you have any. But we also will continue using our policies and procedures, and it has these things in there that we try to accommodate. And then the participation agreement is what everybody who shows a piece of work there has to sign before we accept it. And that as part of the participation agreement, it says there no insurance is or will be available or provided to the town or by the committee. And also they agree to defend and hold harmless the town and members of the committee, individually and collectively, against any claims, liabilities, and losses. And so that tries to protect everybody that we can.
Catherine?
Yes.
I have a question on number 6 because I don't quite understand it. Including reasonable attorney's fees.
Yeah, that came from
Who pays that?
That came from, I think, Claudine's thing. And
Okay.
Basically what she was trying to do is that that if they bring a case against us, we will not pay their attorney's fees. I think that's my interpretation of it.
That JUAC and the town won't pay that. Okay.
Right.
So I had one question, which was, well, my reaction at first was, are you kidding me? This is like 3 pages of blah, blah, blah. And is the only reason we have to do this because there's art being displayed in the town hall? Like if this was the art being displayed, I don't know where, in the library.
Might be.
Let's say that picture fell on some kid that walked in here.
So it's because it's in the town hall.
It's
And we
because
just-
it won't go anywhere.
Yeah, we wanted to, I think the reason. The majority of the reasoning is, Catherine's no longer with the board. She's the one who was taking care
Right.
of the town hall art stuff. And so just carrying on this tradition of having the art show carry through
Yeah.
many more years through in the town hall.
So, and on that, Catherine, what I thought one of the biggest things we were holding out for is you still need a key to town hall to be able to get into this.
That is correct. That is correct. I still need a key.
And that wasn't in here, is that access.
That's
And I think you should, I'm okay with you still having a key. I hope the voters of Jericho are too.
But that's the key. I need to get there on a Saturday for receptions and stuff, or stay late.
Exactly.
Any other discussion?
I just had a quick question. And you sort of talked about it, but I just was curious about who decides what art is appropriate, and is there, it sounds like there's been an issue one time maybe, but, or two, but, is that, does that need to be part of this understanding, or is that?
Yes,
just-
it is part of the, it is part of the
Oh,
understanding.
maybe I missed it then. Okay.
Yeah, it says, let's see.
What number is it?
Oh, I have two different versions of it here that
Oh,
It's the number one or
it's
two.
number one.
Because the JUAC may select and designate certain.
Yeah.
But there's another section, it's probably better in the participation agreement, but anyway, it says, okay, that's that one. But we do have in there that the town, that we, oh yeah.
I guess I didn't see.
Number
it.
one, the JUAC may select and designate certain pieces from the art to be displayed. So the JUAC is taking ownership of that.
Yeah.
They're basically agreeing that they're not going to put up something. They're going to follow the traditions that they've done since 2008 and not allow things that are going to be upsetting. And there's a one in however many times they've done it chance of that somebody
Right.
being upset by something, but they're going to
Right.
use this kind of.
and it says in the policies, as explained in the policies and procedures of the art in the town hall, there must be it sounds like there's a
Right,
policy.
Yep.
she,
Sounds there's a policy.
and the
We
policy.
send,
okay.
we send,
That-
we
Okay.
send,
All right.
it's
And
a,
it says if someone protests, we have this review process. I'm
Oh,
guessing.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's a 3-page policies and procedures that is sent to all artists, especially all new artists. And it's under the heading, what type of artwork may be considered for exhibit? And we talk about 2 or 3 dimensional, so long as the work can be hung on the walls. But now we have little shelves that we can do little art that's 3-dimensional. But it says the committee, part B says the committee has the sole right to determine the maximum size of artwork that will be considered for any given exhibit, to limit the number of artwork to be displayed, and to exclude from any exhibit any artwork that it deems inappropriate for display in a public venue.
Okay, excellent.
That the whatever it is that the JUAC deems inappropriate.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I'm good with it.
I would make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the town of Jericho and the Jericho Underhill Arts Council.
I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Catherine, I really like this month's, by the way.
Yeah, it's good. I like that
Really?
one.
I was gonna say, this tree is super cool.
Isn't it amazing? Oh, and the guy
awesome.
who did it is just a hoot. He is so funny and so
Oh,
great
there's
to
a-
talk
The
to.
little thing underneath it.
There's two, you're telling me I can make one of these?
I don't know if the how to, but it's a picture of the same thing.
Yeah,
Love it.
All right.
It's great.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank
Nice to meet you.
thank you.
Next
for,
on the agenda is
appreciate it.
review and consider approval of the local emergency management plan. We have to do this every year. Did it change?
I was thinking we did to remove some names, put new names.
Yep. I'm still the backup.
You are.
Cool.
Unless anyone has questions, I'd love to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the local emergency management plan.
I second that motion.
Amy made the motion. Laura seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Next is review and consider approval of the Underhill Jericho Fire Department Site Lease Agreement.
Yes. So, I met with Todd Fisher, we went over the lease, we've gone over it a few times, made some corrections and finally came to, we both came to an agreement of what they would prefer and what they'd like to see, and had Claudine review it, and they agreed it'll be $600 annually to pay for a lease for their repeater into the.
Is your recommendation that this board approve that?
Yes, is my recommendation that they approve.
It was no small feat to get to this point, so thank you for that, work. Paula?
Yeah.
What does the board want to do?
I make a motion to approve the UJFD Site Lease Agreement.
I'll second the motion.
Laura made the motion, Amy seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Before we vote, can I ask a quick question? So there was lots of back and forth and conversations, and is there anything about the agreement that is especially noteworthy one way or the other? Like there was a sticking point that got unglued. Is it just sort of all works its way out
Yep,
and it's pretty
yep.
big?
Yep,
Okay.
really minor issues going back and forth, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you for seeing that
yeah.
across the finish line.
I already said that.
I don't really.
He's the only one I heard
Yeah.
say.
It's Chris and I down here, having little subcommittee meetings out here, blah, blah, blah.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, let's talk about the permit fees again.
Very exciting. So, I don't know if we wanna pull up on screen, but what we've got for you guys now is we've given the updated percentage change for each one of these fees that we're recommending. It's much easier to look at now. As we had discussed before, we are increasing fees based on permitting fees, not any of the road fees, not anything else, based on what our neighboring towns are doing, based that we have not done this in 25+ years. We are increasing fees pretty much across the board, except where they involve ADUs, smaller homes. Then we are reducing fees in that capacity. We have not added any new fee categories. We haven't added anything to say, if you want to build a tiny house versus a 900-foot home versus 1,200 versus a 2,000, we've kept within our current parameters. I think it's probably worthwhile next time we do this to look at that. But this is my recommendation is also that we start doing this every year, every other year, reviewing these fee schedules because our neighbors are doing it every 2 to 5 years. So we're delinquent.
Why did you guys decide to not create the like under 1,200, 2,000? Because we talked about that last time.
I actually spoke with Chris Shaheen and they were gonna kind of work it into the
Our
what they're
updates.
working on now.
The
Yes.
Yeah.
information updates.
Yep,
I think it would be great. I thought we had agreed that the ADUs would have no fee. And I thought we discussed.
Was we the select board or the planning?
The select board.
Okay.
And I thought I was also in favor of having no fees for a small house with the size of 1,200 square feet, but I was going to say we should coordinate with the planning commission.
yes,
What that size is, because the planning commission is currently deciding, should it be 1,200, should it be 1,500?
yeah,
whatever.
he's gonna work that into,
But I think it would be great and send a positive message if there was just no fee for small houses and ADUs.
So we reduced the fee for ADUs by 6%. It's only $65 right now.
I know, it's more of a message.
No, what I'm saying is, if we want to say approve with strike the fee, it's $65 in my mind. How many ADU, we have very few ADUs coming in every year. So no, I think you're still.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's a great
That's
idea.
okay,
If we
okay.
want to say approve and strike that fee.
Okay,
With the understanding that this planning commission, when they come through with their new recommendations, are going to include that, and then that would add a line here.
That'll include what?
yes.
That will include a
Small.
1,200
Small.
or something, or small, like, they'll come out with a recommendation that would also amend this.
yes.
So they'll come in
Okay.
with the zoning things, this,
Yes.
and this, and also anything under whatever they decide on 1,400, 1,500, 1,200.
We recommend this permit amount or nothing or
Or
whatever.
nothing, yeah, right,
And
okay.
approving this now, we can amend it in
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yep,
But
Okay.
what Amy and Chris are suggesting is.
Yeah,
we
to
approve it as
strike the
amended.
ADUs for now,
Yeah.
but we just because we approve it now, which is great, gets us kind of caught up and
so
but then
ADU,
we can
goes
go
right
back to
here.
this in a month and amend it to change under 1,200 to whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
I actually love that. I'm happy that you guys are pro that. I don't think I can motion my own work if someone wants to.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the permit fee schedule, as amended with ADUs, having a fee of $0. Having a permit fee of $0.
I will second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for doing that. Look at us flying right along.
We're hitting it, guys.
All right, apparently Chuck sent us an invoice for a control system.
That was my, I literally thought, wait a minute, is he into that? Like, there's everything. He's got chickens, he's got like,
HVAC.
right, now he's doing 8. I literally thought, what the hell is Chuck up to now?
Let's see an HVAC stand from Chuck.
It's an invoice for a new control system unit
Yes.
for heat and air conditioning.
Our heating and air conditioning off an old computer that sits behind Amy's desk. And we cannot, if that thing gets.
You had me at Internet Explorer.
We are barely holding on, and we've asked Chuck for numerous times to come up with something, and finally, one of their guys did the research, and just having this will take care of it in-house.
Why do we
And how
have
much
to,
is it?
$7,000.
do we have to approve this for the same reason we have to approve things for like the road budget when it's?
Like Peter's.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. I'm just like,
Right, I was like, when I read it, I was like, oh my God, here we go again. I'm gonna not even let this, I'm just gonna make a motion, get this over with. But then I read it, and I was like, oh, wait, I wanted to make sure that this was to do the work. That the
Yep.
$7,000 wasn't their recommendation fee to do the work, to prepare for the work.
Nope.
This is the work. Okay,
Yep.
I would make a motion to approve the expenditure of $7,152 to Chuck's Heating and Air Conditioning to rehab our heating and AC system.
motion.
I just wanted to point out, if it's running on Internet Explorer 9, it's probably also running in compatibility mode, because we had to do an uplift on this that basically took our company down.
Oh.
So it's actually probably running on IE6. Yeah, that's what compatibility mode is. Yeah.
Could be older.
Yeah. Anyway, all those in favor of spending 70, whatever?
7152. 7,152. Aye.
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 Motion passes. I do think, to the point you made, and that Peter always makes, I do think it's worth talking a little, not tonight, but just to get an agenda item.
That's what I was about to say.
I think right now it's $5,000 Paula can spend on her own without our approval. If it's 5,001, she needs our approval. My guess is, even if you just kept with inflation, I'm guessing that number came from several years ago. So if it's 20 years ago, that would just automatically be 15 now. I don't know when we did it, but it's worth having an agenda item to revisit that, so that she can run the town. And not that this was that burdensome. It's cool to hear about, but it doesn't force her to make that decision, right? If you're like, I don't know if we should do this, I think. Anyway, we can talk about it.
Yeah, I do want, all joking aside, I do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
And make it, find a reasonable number and then talk about a system.
Yeah. Oh my God, these MOUs. Review and consider approval of memorandum to send to the state regard. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one. Sorry. This is just a memo, not a memo of understanding. Okay, no, this is good.
So we were complaining about it
Right.
before we even started.
Yeah.
But we didn't get, we don't have a copy of this though, right?
I didn't know yet.
It's not a memorandum, it's a, so let me explain it. And maybe I got the wording wrong. I would like the town to send a letter to the state to describe to the state the impact that Act 250 has had on new housing in Jericho over the past few years, and to project what that impact would continue to be in the next few years. Because at a time when the state is desperate for housing, Act 250 has cost Jericho housing, and we can quantify that. It would be relatively easy to do. So I would like that. My request is just that the select board direct, and I think the planning commission and town planner are the people ideally suited to spearhead this, but to direct them to prepare this letter to the state. And I mentioned this concept to Edie Granning recently, and she was very supportive, and she encouraged us to go a step further and to describe to the state the reasons in which Jericho would be qualified to meet the goals of Act 250 without oversight from the state.
Say the last sentence again.
Be exempt from Act 250.
She was suggesting that she suggested that we describe to the state the ways in which we are qualified to essentially self-govern without Act 250, to do development in a way that supported the environment and the natural resources that Act 250 wants, but to let them know that in fact we have all these systems in place, we have all this capacity, staff capacity, to handle this on our own. Not to say that the state would ever do that, but she suggested that that would be useful for the state to hear. And I think that given, we have a model NRO, natural resources overlay, that's hailed throughout the state. We have just highly functioning committees and commissions. We have a well-established town plan that, and we have the planning commission is strong, the town planner is strong, the DRB is strong, the zoning administrator is strong.
Are we asking for the state to say, hey, Jericho, you don't have to run Act 250 anymore? Everybody else?
I don't know that we're asking the state to do that. I think what I'm suggesting we do is, at a minimum, describe to the state the impact that Act 250 has had. And then I think we could suggest that the limits of Act 250 currently are too restrictive. Why does it have to be 10 acres? Why does it have to be 10 units? Why couldn't it be 15 acres and 15 units? And then we could also describe, without asking necessarily, describe the capacity that Jericho has to the systems that we have and the people we have in place to regulate our development. I don't know that we, and I don't know, and when I first had this idea, my sense of it was, well, so what? Jericho's going to send a letter to the state. But I also think that if every town in the state did it, it would make a difference. And when I was very struck by Edie's reaction, because she didn't say anything outright, but she made it sound like it would be useful for information for the state to have, to know the systems that we have in place already and how qualified we are to manage this. She also thought it was just great to let them know what Act 250 has been doing. And I think that their Act 181 does not go far enough, also does not go for, is too restrictive, in my opinion. I think we should be allowed to be exempt from Act 250 in all of our village centers, regardless of whether they have municipal sewer. And I think that we should be allowed to do development in our designated growth areas. Anyway, so I just think, and I'm going to suggest that the town planner and the planning commission sort of take the lead on the tone of the letter and the content. But I do think it would be great to have the Affordable Housing Committee weigh in. They have a lot of this information about housing development in Jericho. And I think that they could not only look at what's happened, but also make a reasonable projection going forward for the coming few years. I think the the Conservation Commission could, describe how strong the NRO is. So anyway, I'm not sure yet what exactly we would ask the state, but I really think it's important to communicate with the state. So my ask tonight is simply that the select board direct the planning commission and town planner to take on this project.
My perspective is this is a little top down versus bottom up. Despite Chuck's best efforts, I'm not an affordable housing expert yet. One day we'll get there. But I don't want to direct the planning board to come to me with a point of view. I want them to develop the point of view and come to me with it instead of telling them what their point of view should be. Like, I'm sure that could be, I know that you have the expertise there, but what I would like is, I would like to be reviewing a document that says, here is the data and the information that we've gone through as the town of Jericho. Here is, if we can quantify, here are all the houses that weren't built because of Act 250 or were downsized or whatever they would be. And here is the impact of 181 so far on Jericho or on Jericho. And come to me with a perspective instead of me saying, I don't have that data. Come to me with my already point of view that Act 250 has hurt Jericho.
So could we rephrase it to say, could you please present to us information describing whether or not Act 250 and Act 181 have impacted development?
Just give me a readout on how, just give me the facts and tell me, the
Sure.
planning commission, tell me.
Okay, because I feel confident that it's a real issue, and anyway, but so I'm interested in communicating with the state at some level, and I'm open to various ways of how we might do that.
I will tell you that honestly, I don't know enough about Act 250 and Act 181 to feel comfortable directing the planning commission to make a statement about it. And I think that Act 181, which I just Googled, is very much up in the air. I heard that the whole thing is being pushed back to 2028, and the road rule is being pushed back to 2030. So I guess I feel like Act 250 is already getting overhauled via Act 181, and that Act 181 maybe isn't going far enough, but I don't know. That's based on what you said. So I guess I'm hesitant to be saying this isn't enough when I don't know enough about it to say that it's not enough. The fact that Edie said it would be helpful, that has a lot of weight with me because she's on the front lines there.
Right.
And the piece about telling them what Jericho has in place, that feels like that. I don't see the point of that when it's like someone saying, oh, there shouldn't be a law about wearing seatbelts because I wear my seatbelt all the time. So just do away with this law. Like if there could be some town could be that Wilmington, Vermont has no capacity whatsoever. And then if Act 250 went away, then it would be a disaster for them. So it feels like we're asking for just ourselves to be
well,
either asking for ourselves to be not, don't worry about us, or wipe it out for the whole state because we've got the capacity. I don't see what us having the capacity has to do with a statewide law.
Well, and I don't know, she was appropriately cautious or careful with what she said to me.
Yeah.
And but that was the fact that she asked it and the way that she asked it made me think that there were people at the statewide level that would be interested in knowing A, what the impacts have been, and B, what alternative courses there might be for future consideration. Not that Jericho would be like, hey, we're special, but just to let them know that, and maybe that's true with all towns, but in fact, we are well organized and we've put a lot of effort in, and we have community-wide support for protecting the environment and for protecting natural resources and for getting new housing development. And so if the state knew, again, that every town was well qualified to do that, it may affect how they think about Act 250 going forward. So I guess I feel, having been involved with the Planning Commission for the last 8 years and having heard anecdotal stories about development in town, I am very confident in saying that Act 250 there have been numerous developments that have stopped at 9 instead of going past that because of Act 250. And to me, those developments, if they were 12 or 15, whatever they would have been, it would not have been an adverse impact on the environment, and we would have had more housing. And so I think have been frustrated by that. And I think it's a worthwhile exercise, however it plays out, to communicate that with the state. And so I guess we can simplify the request as much as necessary, but I was sort of hoping we could pursue it as a town.
I have more comments or questions, but I don't wanna.
I wanna hear your comments and questions too, I think.
What?
Just talking.
So my guess is if we send it to Phil Scott, he's gonna be like, yeah, I already know that. Cause I vetoed
Right.
Act 181.
Right.
And so, and I can't find the roll call votes, but my guess is that Edie and Trevor voted in favor of Act 181, because it was kind of unanimously Democrat. So we would want to send it to them and the Vermont Natural Resources Council, which really spearheaded Act 181.
Yes, and if we got to the point of having a letter or some communication to send, Edie says she could help us direct it to the right people.
Okay, great.
So,
My comment was I would feel better if this question went to the planning commission and asked the planning commission if they.
we are going to speak about it next week.
Okay, I'm not comfortable directing them to do it. I'm comfortable with them talking about it and then saying, select board, will you sign this letter? Or can Chris Shaheen sign this letter or whatever?
With you, Peter.
My thoughts are, if the state's serious about housing, we've got to do some drastic type things, and that seems like one of them. I don't really want to wait for like 4 levels of committee review to come up with to agree to authorize sending a letter. I would just say write it and then get it in front of us, and then we can tweak it from there. I don't know. I have no problem with sending a letter. I think we should probably send one every week. Remember in Shawshank when he just kept sending the letters and they finally just did it?
We got the library eventually,
Yeah.
so.
I think it's a real thing that I think the impact of Act 250 is real. And I think, yes, does it make any difference? Does the state going to care that Jericho has sent a letter of complaint? Maybe not. But if we don't do anything, we've taken ourselves out of playing a role. And if we send a letter and everybody sends a letter, then maybe the state says, oh, okay, maybe this has gone too far and maybe we could rethink this.
And I don't disagree with that. I'm not at all like, oh, don't bother. They're not gonna listen. They don't care about us. I'm not saying that at all. I just want to make sure that I'm on board with what the letter says, what the language and what the whole thing is.
Right. I don't see any harm in saying draft one, get it in front of us, and then
Sure. Okay.
we could tweak it. And I don't even think we need a motion.
No.
Right? We can
Just bring it
Okay.
to us.
you can go to Chris and
Okay.
your planning commission and say the select board may consider one if someone wants to draft it, and then we can look at it and then
Tweak it.
tweak it or shoot it down or whatever. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's what I'd like.
Okay. Sorry, I said no commenting, but go ahead, please.
I'm not ready to congratulate ourselves on our systems. You know, in any kind of a letter. I mean, these 9 home developments, we've been studying for 5 years whether to allow triplexes there. I mean, and then to kind of point to the state that Act 250 is a problem, to me, is we gotta get we need to get our act in order. The second thing is, I think it's, there's a more important target, the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission. And we sat on our hands when they presented this map, which ties us up in knots with no response. I mean, we let them put out a map that ties us to these village centers. The only expansion, the development zone, we added the high school, big deal. We added a couple places that have HOAs, big deal. To the, to the development areas. We're hemmed in right now because we were really passive with the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission. I think our efforts are better directed there. And it's kind of in real time. Similar to say, I don't have a problem with that, but let's not brag about our systems.
I think the systems he was bragging about are the natural resource protections that Act 250 was maybe modeled after. I don't think he meant that we're bragging
housing
about
is
how
nothing.
happy we are with the housing we're getting. I think he's saying we have enough people that would
Right, but
that
we're
would
saying, we are not held, there's many things right now, we are not being held back by Act 250 on, that we're sitting on our hands. Easy stuff that you have already supported.
understand. Thank you for that comment. Next on the agenda, review and consider the Jericho delinquent tax policy to keep the imposed 4% late penalty for each tax installment and approve as stated or revert back to the 8% final installment. So what we used to do, we have two tax payments. When are they? September.
March and September.
March and September. My bank does them. I don't want you to think that I don't pay them. My bank just does it for me. That's why I don't know the dates, okay? And the way it was set up prior to adjusting to this way was for one of the payments, there was no penalty. And for the other payment, there was an 8% penalty, which is very aggressive for anyone who's paying a tax bill in this town. So like there was an incident where like somebody sent the bill from the wrong account on his PC banking, and so it bounced, and by the and ended up with
It didn't bounce.
or
He caught it and told the town about it before the town cashed a check.
right.
And then so he fixed it after the due date, but he told the town before they cashed a check.
And we still, and because at least my understanding from this thing, the state doesn't give us tools to correct that, right? Like there's a list of things of why you can do an abatement and say it, and none of those things fit. So like it was basically you had to say he can't possibly afford it or he can, like, right? Like, so with a lot of discussion, we tried for a 2-year period, rather than doing the 8% one and 0 at the other, we just did 4 on both. So that way it's uniform and it's, and when we did that little trial period, has expired. So what's in front of us tonight is, do we want to continue that? Do we want to go back to the 0 and 8? Do we want to do something else?
You want to go to 0? Go to 0 and 0.
There's,
That's what Heinsberg did, and they had no change in their tax collection. That's what this came from. I came to the board with some other people from the Board of Abatement and asked the board to change it to take away the late fee.
How many years has Heinsberg been doing that, do you know?
Oh, they did people who were like, it was a different town manager, a different town.
Okay.
It's been 10 years.
I think.
And so I came and if you don't pay your taxes, there's a whole series of things that happen and interest gets built up, and I'm looking for the document, but and so which ends with the town just taking your house. Amy came and spoke against it and and Brian was also very much against it. And Amy's concern, I think, and I don't want to misquote it, this is my memory of her concerns. One, that she thinks that there are people who will say, oh, well, if there's no fee, then I'm just not going to pay on time and pay later on. Which I think is, I don't hope I'm not coming across as dismissive of that at all, because I think that's a reality. What was the other thing? There was the second thing that she talked about, I felt it was more powerful.
I think one of the concerns, I don't know if this is the one that you're trying to get to. So if somebody's late, we still have to pay the state.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
let me just quickly, what I was gonna say was that, oh my God, it's gone again. So that she works really hard. I got it now. Let's cut you off so I don't forget again. She works really hard to not end up with houses in tax whatever it's called, tax
Arrears.
arrears and all that, and tax sales. She worked really hard to avoid that, and I think she felt that going to no penalty would make that harder for her to do.
Make her job harder, yeah. And I know one of the points she made was if I don't pay my taxes, Jericho still has to pay my education taxes to the state, whether they can collect the money from me or not. And that I think gives us, our small little financial staff, some heartache. And so that's the only reason why I, as a select board member at the time, suggested this as a compromise. 8% felt really ridiculous. And it's just weird to not do it on the first one. So like you've got a coin flip. If you make that mistake on the first one, 0. You make that mistake on the second one, $1,000 or whatever it was. I don't know.
The other thing in terms of that because I was like, because Brian was saying like we have to write a check for $5 million to the MMU on this date, whether we have it or not.
We just did that, by the way.
Right, I just saw that go by.
Yeah.
I knew it was $5,000 something.
Brilliant.
The flip side of that is that we've talked about we have this checkbook with this money in it, and we took $100,000 out of that checkbook last year, the year before, to do stuff for wastewater. And so we had $100,000 sitting there that we took out and nothing happened. And the idea that $100,000 worth of people wouldn't be paying their taxes on time and we'd be that much short made me think that seems like not really an argument in terms of that our finances are at such a high level that if 50 people don't pay their taxes, I don't see the town all of a sudden not having enough money to pay the MMU bill.
Yeah, that's a good point. We have a big buffer.
How many late payments do we get a year average?
You can look at it in the budget. Part of our budget include in the revenue line, you can see that number.
From remembering, that's a pretty low number. It's like 1 or 2 households.
Oh no, I think it's
like 30 grand.
I would say I would say 10 to 15 households. I'm making that up. It's just off the top of my head.
I mean, we can get that number, right?
The budget again.
I'll look at it.
I would informally propose without making a motion, and I'd like to just talk about it. And two people's thoughts are either tabling this and having a real conversation about it, if other people are interested in hearing more about the 0%, the no penalty, and to give Amy and Brian a chance to present their own thoughts and express, so it's not done behind their back. So to put it on an agenda for later, or I would propose that we cut it down to 2%, 2% and 2% instead of 4% and 4%.
So my question is, can we wait? Because you said that
This is, yeah, we can do it whenever.
Okay.
We're already 3 months overdue.
as long as we're okay, because I would like to do some research to Heinsberg and what they did personally, and come back and have that conversation in a more educated way.
Why is that line blank on the
And
budget?
I don't know or understand how it affects Amy or anybody else. So I would be interested in knowing more.
Well, she
Why is it blank?
come and talk to it.
It says collection fees on delinquent taxes, and there's nothing in, there's no 0, it's just dashes. There's nothing there. Ever. I swear we saw it. Anyway.
Years ago, I was late for one of the tax payments, and the penalty was so crushing that I pay the whole thing up front the minute I get it.
Right.
So it does motivate you to be on time. I don't want it to be 8%, but I mean, don't know how much lower than 4% I
What
want
do
to
we
go.
do with 8%? Like, it just goes into the general fund?
It's part of our budget.
Yeah.
It's just part of our, just like anything else, right? But down the line, it's just empty.
Blank.
Yeah,
Okay.
I swear there used to be numbers there, but there's
And
not
I
now.
was like 3 days late, so that to me feels punitive. You know, then we have
Yeah,
a
this
grace period.
Peter and I were in alignment of how ridiculous it was for this
Yeah.
guy. Like, come on, he caught
This
it,
guy made the payment out of his wrong account, realized that the check wasn't gonna clear.
ran it.
And the check was sitting in an envelope here, came to town hall, said, hey, I gave you the wrong check. I need to replace the check. And they said, okay, but you're late. And so we paid like $400 penalty for using the wrong account or for paying it late.
Yep. And he has two properties. The other one he paid on time.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was
Oh,
an extreme case of why not to do it, but I do want to be respectful of the people whose job it is to, that's why I propose a compromise. Like, I don't have to be the one to go collect people's tax bills and constantly remind them. And so I get it.
Yeah.
But if you could follow up on why that line is blank, I swear it didn't used to be.
Because I remember there was.
Yeah, I just wanted to get an idea of how much it was. So much for that. Okay. Table that,
So we're gonna table that and
revisit
have
when
part of the
Brian.
schedule at a time when either Brian or Amy or both can come and
Yeah.
talk to us.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Review Jericho's domestic pet ordinance.
This is gonna be a big one.
Oh my God, I was at the CCRPT and the guy from Essex was there. At Essex Selectboard, he was like, it was I got a name. Excuse me.
Really?
He's like, it was a nightmare.
Oh, it's awful.
The dog bit somebody, they didn't put it down. And like, I think days or weeks later, the dog killed its owner.
Almost
Killed
bad.
killed the owner's dad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
All right, well, with that,
So that is why I felt we felt we should review our ordinance. I think the last one was passed in 97.
oh my god.
Yeah, 1997.
I'm gonna
They had dogs back then?
I'm gonna continue to judge things by what I was doing in the year Jericho did them.
1997.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Let's not do that for you guys.
So, I felt like we needed to have more authority because the problem in Essex, as I understand it, is that they did not feel, given their ordinance, that they had the authority to remove a dog that attacked someone on the dog's property. It was a delivery person.
Yep.
And so I think we need to have more room to make
And-
those decisions.
And the phrase there is it's the on the property piece.
Yeah.
Yes.
The idea being that, well, it's the dog's property, they feel they belong, they own it. They're defending their home, that's a natural instinct, that doesn't count.
Then don't order any packages.
Well, and they,
And don't have-
my understanding from reading the article, they did some things, but they were limited by their ordinance in doing the like, no, that it's gotta go, right? They said you can't do this, you can't do that, and they had power
But they
to do
couldn't-
some things,
they
but not
did-
the,
I think they did everything except for putting the dog down.
yeah.
And they all felt they should put I think, this is my memory, they felt.
That was my
They
understanding
felt the
as
dog
well.
should be put down.
Yep.
But they couldn't.
So I looked at other towns' ordinances, but the Vermont League of Cities and Towns had the best one, but it was far more exhaustive than the 6 pages that it currently stands at. And this was just my first attempt. But one of the things I wondered about, we don't have a town constable, do we? Okay.
That's
so-
you.
It is now.
So that can be removed. They make a distinction between working farm dogs. They make some distinctions about if the potentially vicious dog bit because it was being teased or harmed in some way, that it doesn't apply to them. So section 6, so section 4.
Can I see what document I'm looking at?
Yeah, it's up there, and I think that might be the only one.
I was gonna say it's.
It wasn't that-
I
it wasn't in our
didn't send
packet.
it to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I,
It's in our packet?
She sent it to everybody.
Wait,
No.
no, it's at the bottom, it's at the very end of our packet, that's how I missed it.
Oh, is
It's
it?
at the,
Yeah,
yeah,
I-
it's at the end after the
That's
meeting.
the Jericho one.
But
Oh,
like,
yeah,
the
that's right.
thing is,
I sent you this one too late to include.
that's
You
okay,
might have.
that's okay.
Do
Yeah,
I have this?
I thought
No,
you
you
guys had
don't.
that.
I don't have this.
So I didn't.
I sent it
it's
to
okay.
Eric and Paula.
Okay.
I apologize.
Oh, and you asked us to share it, and that's what she's doing? Is that?
But just on the screen.
Yeah.
But you guys don't have it.
Could you send it to us right now, just so
Yeah.
I can sort of like to kind of look at it?
Bring to us.
Okay, so the first sections, 1, 2, 3, just defines the scope. of.
I'll give it, oh, don't worry
You
about
got
it.
it?
Yeah, I got it.
It
Sorry.
defines what they mean by domestic animal and enforcement officer.
I might be a too much of a dog lady here. Do we as Jericho Select Board want to rule out wolf hybrids because they shouldn't exist anyway and no one in Jericho should have a wolf hybrid? Which we note in here.
Are they legally allowed to have them?
I actually don't think so. You need a license to have one. You need like a special whatever. If you want to own wolves, it's the same
Yeah.
license, like
You tell me I can't have a wolf hybrid? Is that what you're?
wolf hybrid.
So what-
Very
what's that?
exciting.
I didn't want one until you told me I couldn't have
Include
one.
it because someone may have a
Right,
license.
somebody might have,
That's-
right,
That's
And,
fair.
right.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it could be a problem. So section 4, I kept the licensing the same as it reads in our current ordinance. The collar required, in section 5, I made it a little less restrictive. Like, yeah, you need a collar, but
What did you take out that's less restrictive? What's the more restrictive stuff you didn't put in?
it was sort of the penalties for not having a collar. If the dog's running at large and people don't know whose dog it is, it does need to be picked up. It doesn't have a collar. The nuisances on section 6. And I don't expect that we'll pass this tonight, so I can
Okay.
pass it out, like send it out. Or we could. All these nuisances, running at large, unconfined dog in heat, disturbing the peace, exemptions for working dogs. Nuisance for potentially vicious dog.
What section is that?
Section 6, the nuisance for.
Page 2.
3.
So this is minor injuries. You know, I've certainly had on our road a dog bite another dog.
So
Oh, yeah.
again, I'm using my personal lived Jericho experience. When I'm reading exemption for working dogs, bear dogs would not count in this. Correct?
What
They're
dog?
allowed.
Bear dog, people who use dogs to rush
Hunt?
bears, yes,
Oh.
to rush bears up trees.
I can share this with you.
Large dogs, working farm dog.
So
That's not.
Oh, okay.
So nuisance for potentially vicious dog, it does not apply if the dog was protecting or defending itself, its offspring, another pet, or a person from attack or assault, or the person attacked or threatened by the dog was engaged in teasing, tormenting, battering, assaulting. So there's some
Does it,
exemptions.
But does it give discretion? It should still give discretion, right? Like, I'm assuming, I don't know if I would have to call that stuff out. I feel like an animal control officer is going to go out, they're going to evaluate the situation. And if that were the case, right, they're not going to say, well, right? Like, it isn't, I'm hoping there's still discretion for like
Yes.
situations that aren't included in these caveats.
I hope it's the end of this, right? Is like, common sense.
but also like, it's pretty common for one dog to chase another dog. It doesn't necessarily mean
Yes.
it's looking to cause it harm.
Someone might call because they just don't like the dog. And that would be the animal control officer's responsibility to figure out,
Right.
is the dog
Yeah.
potentially vicious?
Okay.
The penalties and costs, section 8. When I looked at it again, so I set they don't offer any advice about fines, the VLCT. So I looked at other towns' fines, and I set these first 4: lack of current license, disturbing the peace, unconfined dog in heat, running at large, as pretty minor fines. Like the first one is just a warning. you gotta confine your dog if it's in heat.
Why do we care about that? Isn't the risk that the dog gets pregnant?
Then no, but because dogs in heat are going to be more active and roaming. And
And they'll drive aggression in your dog if they show up and.
If I have two male dogs and a
Yes.
female dog shows up, my dogs might begin fighting because they're trying to get to
Your
her.
dogs will go.
They're not
crazy.
so smart.
they might fight just like hearing her around.
Okay.
So first offense, a warning for these 4 nuisances. Second offense, $25, third offense, $50, fourth, $75. And then they also have to stipulate that, you know, how are these offenses counted? They're counted against the owner, not the animal. And it's 12,
Probably good.
it's a 12-month period. So if you get your second offense,
Oh, I see what you mean.
then
Then
you're-
I have 5 dogs.
your third offense applies.
Okay.
But
Wait, say that
okay,
again?
let's say that you get your first offense
Yeah,
and then nothing happens for 2 years.
yeah.
We have to start over and give you another.
But-
thing.
Can a year be counted from the first offense rather than calendar year? If my dog bites someone December 15th and then bites another person January 3rd, new year,
Oh,
sorry.
no, it's just 12 months.
So when it says here, offenses should be counted on a calendar year basis.
Thank you.
Why don't you make a dog license year basis? April 1st is your dog license.
12 months.
No, I want to count, I don't want any fixed date, I want to count it from when the action
If
happens.
they got to 3 yesterday,
Because of it.
right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden today, they're.
April 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where did we get the dollar numbers for? Just because the potentially vicious dogs, maybe it's just me, I think those numbers are low.
Oh, because when I was thinking about it later, I was like, this seems a little high.
If your dog is
We
biting.
have a
I-
definition of a vicious dog?
A potentially vicious dog. The actual vicious dog comes at section.
Oh, okay.
These are just like,
Mhm.
if your dog
Is menacing.
harassed someone.
Okay,
Potentially vicious.
okay, cause I was
It's
thinking like, if that's not like, if
potentially
that's like an actual bite, then I would say $200 is too low for an actual bite.
What do they say? Inflicts minor injuries.
Not
Not
necessitating medical attention.
Okay. Okay,
I mean, my dog would jump on somebody and cause a minor injury because he's too happy. Like that absolutely won't happen.
Same
I don't want a
with coming
$200. Right.
Or if you're pushing the stroller down the road and some dog comes racing up, you know, someone has the right to complain. If the
Yeah.
dog is
yeah.
like, ah. So,
We're just thinking about this. We're still appreciative of your work in doing this.
okay. No, I think I need a lot of feedback because,
Are you gonna allow any comments from another dog owner in the room,
yes,
just as an observation?
yes.
Well, all public comment was at the
Oh,
beginning
sorry,
of the period.
You're the.
Wow.
Yeah,
Go
ahead, yeah.
So as a service dog owner, there's another reason people have service dogs, and it says on the harness, do not pet, I'm not friendly, or, please ask the pet. So the service dog, they should be included in this at some point. Because there are people that have service dogs, and some are German shepherds, some they can be protective of their owner.
We could
But
add
it's
that
not the
to working
service
dogs.
dog's fault.
We could add that to exemptions for working dogs. A service animal
Yeah.
is a working dog.
licensed and trained because
Yeah.
people get away with,
Yes, you have to have the paperwork.
yes, real paperwork.
And the second observation is, have you talked to the game warden either? Because they have a policy about when they chase deer or chase other wildlife, they can come in and
Yep.
they can
Mhm.
take the dog out.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to,
Well, I didn't know
if they have that right, we don't need to, we don't,
definitions of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's fair enough.
So,
So do other people feel like these potentially vicious dog fees should go up?
Can we go to the actual vicious dog?
Yeah, sure.
Repercussions, because then I can,
Okay, we'll come back to that. A little further down. B and C. The way VLCT had it is you put the fine for the first offense. And then what, if a person doesn't contest the fine, then they get a waiver fine, like a smaller amount. It was so complicated that I just thought, let's just subtract 10%.
I've read this 3
What do
times
we-
and I don't know if I understand it yet.
My dog bit Gabe and you called me out and I owe $25. And if I just say, yep, you're right, that happened. Now I owe 10% less.
Yes,
As opposed
because
to
it
like,
didn't
no,
have to
prove
be
it. I wanna,
adjudicated by the select board or the town.
Then I think that those fees above might again be too low.
Okay. Okay, so impoundment, not sure we need to review that right now. It's just straight out of the VLCT language. Now I'm on page 5. Oh, that was just a question.
what?
Let's see.
Do we have anything in here about microchips?
Yes.
Because- Okay,
That's actually the part I'm trying to find.
cool.
Yeah, it doesn't
Section
look like-
9, section B.
Hold on.
Section 9,
9B,
number B, yep,
notice of impoundment.
yeah.
Okay.
Um. I saw your note there because scanners are really cheap
Yeah.
for microchips and our dog officer should definitely have one already. Like,
We don't have a dog officer.
don't we have like a,
But we should pay for it, for
Sure.
them to have it.
yeah, I mean, it's also one of the. Like Mansfield has multiples of them
Yeah.
and I think that's, yeah, it's definitely something we should own and. As we have a dog officer, as we have a theoretical dog officer,
Right.
they should own one for sure. They're really cheap.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not a lucrative position.
I've heard.
So I think we should supply the supplies.
I
Absolutely.
they
agree,
need.
I agree with
Yeah.
you, but that's running into my mind because I feel like it should be one of those like identifying things like, oh, does it have the collar?
Yeah,
If it doesn't.
and that, and if we had our own, they wouldn't have to wait for the vet.
Yeah.
To open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay. Investigation of vicious dogs, let's do that, section 10. Because that's why we're really doing this. And the weird thing about this is VLCT had no fines for them.
That is crazy to me.
And I wonder if it's because. it's
But they
more
just say if your
legal
dog is
issue.
found, if your dog is found vicious, they put it down.
So I don't know if you guys follow as much, but there was a violent dog in the one last summer. And this was a continuous issue is like they kept saying, oh, your dog's vicious, but they didn't find because it was I believe a prosecutor who owned the vicious dog.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
Is it in Vermont?
Yeah, this is in the one.
what?
So
In what?
the Old North End, the one.
Oh, the
Oh, gosh.
I think it's from Addison, maybe there's 2 that are like
That
that.
could be, it honestly could
Yeah.
be. So, I think that it needs to have both the deterrent of we will take your vicious dog from you and there should be a monetary penalty, because that was her whole thing, and she's like, oh, well, I'll just keep you in litigation for years, and I believe the dog is still with us, but like still being violent and harassing neighbors because they're in litigation through it, so. I think that especially if you're going to have fines for a dog running around, you absolutely need to have fines for a dog who has become violent and caused medical harm to someone else.
So if a complaint is made to the town, we, in this policy, need to meet within 7 calendar days from receipt of the complaint to investigate the charges. and
With the
hold a
select board.
hearing. Yeah, the select
Yeah,
board.
sorry.
This becomes our job now. Protective order, if after a hearing on the matter, the dog is found to have bitten the victim without provocation, the select board shall make such order for the protection of persons as the facts and circumstances of the case may require, including without limitation that the dog is disposed of, I'm sorry to say that, in a humane way, muzzled, chained, or confined. So that gives us more leeway than I believe Essex had.
Right, I believe they had just disposed of.
Yeah, because it makes no restriction about whether it's on or off the property.
Right.
let's pretend we have an animal control officer. Why do we have to meet if we have an animal control officer who can investigate this and we trust them?
Because we have to
Cause you can't have one,
communicate it.
yeah, it's got, yeah. One person can't say, oh, okay, yeah, put your dog down. Well, who are you to tell? Like, it's
Oh, I
gotta
see.
be, it's gotta be.
So
a
this is
group of-
only for,
We're representatives. If we did something wrong, they can vote us
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think it's like that's too big. That's too big an ask.
So
It's not
that's
making
only,
$10
only
an
if we're
hour.
like getting to the point where like they've got to be put down. Is that basically what you're
No,
saying?
any bite gets adjudicated. If there's a complaint about it,
How many bites have we had?
bad bites.
How many bad bites have we had in town? Does anybody know? Not a lot. I hope not a lot.
Yeah.
Sent you a meme once, so we got at least one.
No, we definitely,
Goats.
no, we definitely have them.
Yeah, okay.
We definitely have.
I don't know if I want to meet every time someone gets bit.
Well,
I-
I mean, we can't in recent memory come up with any.
Oh,
I can.
what happens
Oh,
now?
I can a year
No,
ago,
what
a
happens
year and a
now?
half ago, and 2 years ago. I mean, I can think of 3.
What happens? What happens now when someone gets bit by a dog?
The animal control officer goes and deals with it.
What do they do?
If someone gets bit by a dog, they go to, if they have to go see treatment, the hospital will file a first bite injury report and
Yeah.
then we'll submit it to us.
What do we do?
We have the health officer, he goes out, makes sure the dog's quarantined for 10 days, and then if they're fine and the rabies are all up to date, it's good to go.
I like the idea of us, like Peter said, convening when like, okay, you can't put them down without us hearing about it and giving them a chance. But like, this feels restrictive of what the animal control officer could do without us meeting. I don't.
7 calendar days.
Maybe there's some kind of. If there, maybe. I'm making this up in the spot, but the animal control officer can do X, Y, and Z, and the dog owner can appeal to the select board. So the animal control person says, okay, $50 fee, and you gotta be quarantined for 10 days. And the person says, yep, that makes sense, got it, sorry. And if they're like, no, you can't, blah, 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 I want the select board to hear me out.
Well, I think more than that, this says that if after a written complaint is filed by the person who was bitten, so this isn't everyone who bites, but this is anyone who comes to us and says, hey, that dog bit me and it's not safe anymore. I'm of the persuasion, if somebody's coming to me and saying my neighbor's dog is dangerous and has bit me and put me in the hospital, I do think we should deal with that.
Select board should.
I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
so such person may file a written complaint with the select board.
And it does need to be, coming up with the word adjudicated.
Yeah.
Because it could be there was a very good reason that dog bit that person.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to figure it out, and that's too much responsibility for a very, very part-time, almost volunteer
Literally not existing.
animal control
Right.
officer who doesn't understand the will of the town.
I think
Fair enough.
I'm okay with having a half an hour meeting anytime a dog bites someone, if somebody wants us to have a meeting about the fate of that dog.
But it's not anytime dog, it's when someone files a written.
When somebody wants us to have a say in that and they have a medical complaint, they have been bitten, attacked, whatever it is. I think that's a fair responsibility for us to have on.
Why don't we all just sit on it? Cause we're not gonna vote on this. right
Yeah.
now.
Fine,
Let's just
but
like-
Yeah, I think the first course of action, once we get an animal control officer, is people should call that person first and not be like, okay,
Yeah.
I need a written, right? Like they should call that person first. If that's not working,
Yep,
whatever the next thing is
Yeah.
fine.
I mean, they're probably gonna call the town, call.
right.
call the-
I'll just say, here's the number for the,
Dispatch the AC.
Right.
It's.
Would
I
you-
have a feeling nothing would come to us unless we already know that that dog is a problem, like it would have had 3 or 4 nuisance. I
Okay.
hope.
Fair enough.
Would these guidelines have addressed the problem in Essex?
Yes.
cause we have.
Yeah,
choices
can you
specific
call that
dog.
part out? I know you're trying to get there.
In Essex, it said unless the dog is on its own property.
Hmm.
So.
Pretty much dogs in Essex could do whatever they wanted on their own property.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not literally true, but that was the crux
Okay,
of the.
yeah,
of the-
And-
Okay.
And so for the potentially vicious dog, we made no, that's nuisance 4. We made no stipulation about whether it's on or off the property, just whether the dog was being teased. or-
Antagonized.
Yeah. Okay, so where am I now? Okay. Rabies suspect. This is all just from them. Potentially vicious dog. That's number E of section 10.
So yeah, I think I'm still reading this right. There's a potentially vicious dog, but there is no fine for a vicious dog for after. an incident.
Correct.
Okay.
Which, I mean, seems weird.
That
It seems weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be liable for the hospital bills,
I hope. Or their
the
insurances.
behavior modification,
Euthanasia, probably.
yeah. The impoundment,
Do we outline that in here?
we do,
Okay.
notice of impoundment,
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's section 9. Um. That's basically it.
I mean, I think this is a great idea to have. Thank you for thinking of this. But yeah,
What's the highlight? What are the highlighted things highlighted for?
Just because I felt like we needed further thought.
You want us to make sure they get talked
Yeah,
about.
I didn't know whether we had a town constable.
Okay, okay, but it's just how you
I
want
didn't
things.
think we did.
Highlighted was just making sure we didn't miss stuff that you weren't sure about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that, yeah, we needed to discuss.
Yeah.
So does everyone feel like I should work on upping the potentially vicious fines?
I don't know.
Okay,
But shouldn't we have fines for vicious dogs?
I think we should, and so let me see if I can find some. VLCT didn't leave any space for that, but they did leave space for setting the fines for these nuisances.
the nuisance fines were there. I think that felt right.
Except for the potentially vicious.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
potentially vicious. I feel like nuisance, oh, okay, your dog was running around,
Yeah.
it's whatever, that was a $30 fine or. But I think vicious.
And the first offense I changed to just a warning, because
Yeah, I feel like that's right.
get it together, person.
Everybody's had their dog off leash, yeah, it happens, but
Yes.
happens.
We don't actually have a leash law.
We do have a leash.
Based on AI, it looks like the top amount of money you're allowed for a potentially vicious dog in Vermont is $500.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Really?
I don't think we do.
We,
I don't think we have a leash law.
can we? We
I
should.
think we have a collar law.
Can we talk about that as we're talking about this? Cause I feel like we should have a leash law. That feels right.
Wouldn't that be under running at large? As a nuisance?
Yes.
I guess, so
Like,
we're,
my dog is loose on our property,
but.
but if
Not
he
at
leaves our
large.
property, he's running at large.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so. This is a good point. There's an off-leash area of the Mill Riverside Park. We like,
Oh, God.
I know, we can not, but we should probably find something like some verbiage for. You know, except for in allowed off-leash areas or
Okay, that your dog needs, make it more prescriptive. Your
Yeah.
dog needs to be
in,
in the following situations. I
Yeah.
can add that. Let me just think how to say it. Okay.
I'm fine with no leash law. I think this covers us in a lot of ways.
we just made a leash law though. If, like, without.
The
calling
running
it a
at
leash
large
law.
thing, you mean?
We're running, yeah.
Kind of, it's.
And this all has to go in front of the attorney.
Yeah.
Okay. I can make I can make the changes and then give it to you to run it by Claudine, and then
And then we
it
can.
should be in almost final form.
Well, no, I haven't even read it.
Okay,
So I need,
no,
I
no,
mean,
you do.
I need to read it before, either before, I don't know if you want to give it, if the board wants to say yes to it and then Claudine looks at it, or if Claudine looks at it and then the board looks at it, but I haven't,
No,
I've been listening to the whole conversation, but I have not weighed in.
no,
or
we're
have-
not ready to.
Yeah.
Can we like say, I don't know, till end of day Monday or something, we can give you back comments and
Yeah,
like.
send me-
On the existing version,
Yeah.
sure. Wait, are we allowed to do that?
No,
Just me, can't
If
even.
we just sent it to. the
you
Wolfers
can't
Club.
have, you
I mean,
can't have
you
5
can't-
people editing a
Right,
document.
it can't be
You
all.
can't
the
do
other
that.
document.
Can't
No,
Amy
No.
read it
no.
and send her edits to me?
It's right up against open meeting. law.
Yeah,
We're
you're-
we're making this, we're writing.
And then you're gonna do that,
we're
and then you're
making
gonna send
rules
it to
and laws and
Claudine, who's
ordinances,
gonna-
Not in
Okay.
public.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give it my best
So
shot. And send
I
it.
So
think-
do you want to just wait till the next meeting and everyone reads it?
I think we all read it and then next meeting we come and talk about it.
And then we
Give
try to
your-
be at a
give
big,
your
try to be at a point where we can edit it there on the spot and give it to,
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
thank you.
You.
All right.
I think this could have been sent to everybody by you. And say, hey, we're gonna discuss this in the next meeting. Look at it. That would have been totally fine for open meeting law. Then we could have come to this.
I think you're right.
Ready to talk about it.
True, because it could have just as well been in our packet.
Right, exactly, right.
Right.
And if something misses the packet, it can still be sent.
Yeah,
It can still be sent out like, oh, we're discussing this tomorrow night.
yeah.
Packet was
I guess,
sent.
I guess I should have caught that. I was,
Just pop it out and you say,
Yeah.
hey, we're discussing this in 2 days.
I kind of like getting it when you guys don't have it. And I didn't do anything with it, you know, so. Yeah, fair enough. Approved liquor licenses? I didn't know, did I see
It's
those?
the cater license. It's not the first two, it's the last three on that list.
Oh, there it is, yep. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
are they all at the same place? What?
I'm assuming so.
They're all, they,
Different date.
different date, well, they
At the same place, it looks like.
How do you?
They all date March 16th.
well, it's 16, then it's 7, 8, May 30th. 17.
That first date must be when they received it? The second
Yeah.
kind of looks like a date.
That's all she's giving me. Attach are the. Okay, so May 1st, May 8th, and May 30th. Oh, so it's.
What's
This is-
STA though, like that's what,
I
so,
have no
that-
idea.
that's-
The name of, that's.
cause I think that's probably status or something that they're trying to, like.
Did
That's
you,
the day
did you
they're
get something
happening.
that said, you know that, you know they're May 1st, 8th and
Yep,
30th?
that's what Jessica, I got her email attached here to my information and yeah.
Does it say where?
Attached to the request.
Well, it's Griffin, right?
All three Irish Farm Road, Mansfield Barn.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Okay, I would,
All
I'd make
three
a,
of them.
I guess someone correct me if I'm wrong, I'd make a motion to approve the liquor license for Griffin Riders LLC,
Not liquor license, catering.
the catering license for Griffin Rider LLC on May 1st, May 8th, and May 30th from noon to 11 PM at 3 Irish Farm Road, Mansfield Barn.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
I said the right thing.
You did.
I think you did, yep.
Got it.
Yep,
Nice
you
work.
did.
Nice work, guys.
Oh, there's a note below there.
Next on the agenda is an update from the wastewater task force. What do you have, Peter, for that? I do have an update.
I have nothing.
So we got some recent information that I don't think the board, the wastewater task force has had a chance to digest yet, but we're kind of back up. The punchline is we're kind of based on what we had previously discovered, right? We were starting with this many gallons per day we were hoping to build, and then we were kind of like back down to 30,000 gallons per day. And based on the recent findings, we're like kind of like back up there again. So it could be really good.
Do you know what the depth is?
I don't know what the depth is, but that depth reading was good news.
I knew that. I
Yeah.
didn't know how, I didn't know if it was.
But now they're the latest thing that we saw shows 5 disposal sites, which is where I think the last one that the board had was 2.
Okay.
So they're like-
RMS.
At all at BRMS,
Yeah.
but like there were 2 there, but it's like don't quote me on this, anybody, but like an example of what they sent us might be like 20,000 here, 6,000 here, 20 over here. This one might be exempt from the indirect disposal, but these over here wouldn't be type thing. So anyway, it's
A mixture of different stuff.
yeah, so it's a mixture of different things. So that was really good. And we had a map of those potential locations. And myself and Chris Shaheen and Kate McCarthy met with Browns River administration this morning. And just kind of went over, we haven't really been in front of them yet. And so we talked with the principal, the Phil Graff, the facilities director, and I didn't catch his first name, Streeter. I think he's also works in facilities and works, I think maybe there on the grounds, and
It's Richard.
I think it's Richard. Yeah. Anyway, we had a really good meeting with them. We talked through them. We heard some of their concerns. We we did kind of a pitch of like the need for project, why we're doing this, why we're interested, why this center, we just kind of brought them through our 4 years of learning in a quick little meeting. It was pretty good. They had some legitimate concerns that, not concerns, questions that that we're going to follow up with Du Bois and King on. One of them was, one of the sites is where overflow parking is. And so the question is, can we park on it? I think I know the answer, but we're going to let Du Bois and King answer that for us. Those types of questions. And they do have a really old system there. I guess their system went in 97. They were thinking. So, they wanted to make sure that they're protected from any expansion they'll have to do for a replacement system, that type of thing. But so it was a good conversation. We didn't say, can we do it? And they didn't say, yes, we can, but just kind of further along on that discussion that.
So the final say on that is the school board? Or the
They asked
superintendent?
that same question too. They asked the exact same question. I believe it is the school board.
The school board.
And the school board previously had directed, Chris and I talked with John Muldoon,
Right,
the
superintendent.
superintendent, and he was all for it in principle without seeing specifics of what we were actually asking for. There is interest, I think, to improve the fields, to that, all the types of things you'd expect. Anyway, it was a good conversation.
Depending on how that conversation goes, the other end of the spectrum, CVU is working on building their own housing. Champlain Valley School District has a big piece of land, and they're working on putting in a 600 unit building with housing, with a special section of housing for teenagers at like below market rate, or like low income for 12, because they're so desperate for housing and schools need kids, towns need kids. And
that was kind of part of I kind of danced around that concept with them a little bit when we talked, but like,
I think it's a
like,
big deal.
we're in trouble,
It's a
guys.
big deal that CVSD is saying, we're gonna try and someone has to do this, we're gonna do it. And that, no, but they're nowhere near like, oh, we're doing this, like it just went public Wednesday. They're just beginning to talk about it.
Well, when I was working for UVM Medical Center, they were looking at doing the same thing. Like, okay, community, you're not gonna staff for our nurses to be able to afford to live here. We'll do it. I don't know where that went, but
So you're now at the 90%? Are you at the 90%?
I don't think we're at the 90.
Not yet.
No, there was just, I don't understand where this I need to understand a little bit more about why this changed so much from the last, I swear the last map I saw showed 2 locations and somehow that went to 5.
Right.
I need to understand that.
I haven't seen that, right? I missed a meeting?
No, you didn't miss a meeting. I don't know if you saw it or not. It was hot off the presses yesterday. That's why you didn't see it. So no, you have not.
So do they expect to have a clear understanding of capacity anytime soon, or?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sites. This is all preliminary, so please don't anyone think we're gonna go build this. This is part of the research, and what we've learned in this preliminary engineering report is that the information changes drastically from meeting to meeting as they do more research, right? So yeah, there's 5 sites, a 10 by 240, a 60 by 200, an 80 by 280, an 80 by 280, and an 80 by 200. With a couple different options of how that could work out. So the capacity anywhere between 56,000 and 79,000 if all that worked out exactly the way they did it. So much better story than we were at like 2 months ago.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions that the principal had was, do they get compensated? Which is a great question. We
You do not.
did not have an answer for him, but they might. I mean, the compensation might be we hook you on to the to this system for your system. The compensation might be we help you with your ball field, right?
Well, that, yeah,
No.
that seems appropriate, but
No, you need children.
Yes.
I didn't say those
I know,
words,
right,
but
that's gonna be my response is, no, you don't get a nickel, you need children.
the conversation had gone well.
Right,
So I didn't
yeah,
want to.
right.
I didn't feel that was the best
The
time to
best-
say that.
That point.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
That's my wastewater update. That brings us into select board updates. Start with Chris.
I can give an update on the library and you can jump in, but Laura and I had
Oh, fine.
a good meeting with the library, two of the architects, their structural engineer, Catherine and Lindsay, and Tom Dowd. That was everybody, right? I think so. Anyway, just going through the process of the project, and the upshot of it is that we all agreed that we should do some more fact finding on specific conditions around the building and structural repair projects. So that would include getting better access to the roof with some temporary boardwalks up on the rafters, carefully working around the insulation. It would include having the town engineer come out and assess site drainage and septic, just to know what those issues are as we think about the foundation. Not that they would necessarily be part of this project, but just to know what the issues are. And then getting some real world estimates for the work, as we talked about before. So I think that largely what we talked about.
One of the ideas Chris had was when the building needs to be lifted up and the foundation created, that we drop the height down.
Yes, to make the accessibility more easy. The other thing I suggested to the architects, and doing that may require some better work with the site drainage, because that sets up at the back of the hill, but should be easily solvable. But the other thing I suggested that the library do is ask the architects to come up with a radically simplified way to address accessibility in the building. Mostly to have a much smaller entry addition that could allow for accessible entry, but be sized big enough so that down the road at some future date, they could add a lift. And that addition could initially be just one story, again, just to keep the cost as low as possible. And it could also even just be an open porch, but with a foundation for the future work. Anyway, just to, again, not that is part of the structural repair, but depending on how long this process unfolds, it would be useful to know what those options were, so that if they were doing the foundation and if there was money available, then it might make sense to put the foundation for that accessible entry.
Next steps.
So we would like to go get the town engineer to come, and I can talk to Paula about that, and look at the site issues. And
Does he do that stuff?
doesn't,
Tyler?
Yeah,
I think so.
cool.
well, I guess another way to say that is we would want someone to come.
I mean, I know he does. I mean, he does road stuff, and so it's very close. It's probably fine, but I wouldn't want to sign him up for work he didn't feel
Right,
comfortable
we
doing.
can
But
certainly ask him.
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Okay. And then the library and the architects are going to communicate about, the architects thought they might already have a simplified version, so we're going to see what they come back with on that. And then we need to figure out how to get some estimates for the work.
The estimate's 300,000.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just picking on you.
And
Yes, it is.
next week, April 10th, Lindsay, Catherine, me, and Chris, and hopefully Paula will have a Zoom to talk to explore more about the governance.
Oh, great.
Organizational.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're making progress.
Cool. Anything else, Chris?
No,
Thank you. Peter?
I went to, what day is today's Thursday? I think it was Tuesday. I went to the Deborah Rawson Memorial Library, open house. Down about their expansion. They're looking, as it exists, right, they're looking at like $3 to $5 million bond. Or not bond, expense, cost for that library. They've got a plan that has a lot more meeting space. Which they say is needed. Their staff space is ridiculous. I mean, the building was built, it was, I mean, I was in the UID school board when it was built, so it was like back in like 1994 or something. And it's the staff, they have 3 people sharing an office that is probably these tables right here, 3 people in that office. There's no space. The staff breakout room is the only meeting room they have, so when staff are on break, they can't have a meeting room not rented out, but used by public. So they have a need, but it's a ton of money. So
That has
that's,
to go to a vote though, right?
oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, and they're their own they're their own, I don't think it's called a municipality, they're their own
District.
district, and they have a board, and they have to get a vote and all that, and for it to be a bond, that would be a town-wide vote, or 2 towns by vote. So that's the Deborah Rawson thing. I went to the CCRPC. It's like an open select board, have pizza and talk about stuff meeting. And in that, people were just sharing stuff. And one really interesting idea came out, which is that in South Burlington, they said it's like 3 sentences in their regs, their zoning regs. I think it's the zoning regs. That requires that any building that gets built, the parking area has to be EV ready. So it has to have power run out. It doesn't need to have a charger, but it needs to have power run out that if you buy the house, you can just buy a charger and install it right there. And their argument is that it increases the value of the property for the builder. And it's about 1/10 the cost to do it when you're building the building than to afterwards retrofit it. So
this is for new construction.
for all new construction going
Okay.
commercial and residential, any building at all in South Burlington, the parking area has to be EV ready. And they have some more details about number of space, number of charger, number of locations per commercial stuff,
But
but
not a private.
Yep.
Single family residence.
Yep.
Yeah.
yep.
Wow.
If you build a single family home, you have to have it, doesn't have to have a charger, but it has to have power out to the parking area to allow someone to put a charger on it without running power across the driveway or wherever.
And that passed.
Yeah,
Wow.
passed, and they've said they've gotten 0 negative feedback about it. So I thought it was a really interesting idea. And then, the TMRI committee met, and before our last meeting, and I forgot to talk about it here, so this is a little bit old news, but sort of the hot topics that came up that the committee is feeling like we need to talk about and reconcile or whatever are how public questions are handled, moving the date to Saturday or maybe on town meeting day. But yeah, and since it's not town meeting, we don't need to get a charter change to do that. People are questioning what the purpose of the first meeting is. And then we also wanted to talk and connect with other towns to support one another in implementing this new kind of system because more and more towns are doing it. And there was a lot of concerns from the citizens in the surveys about our decision to limit the amount of money people were allowed to discuss. Anyone know who the town meeting like statewide guru is? I can't think of her name. Chuck, do you know? She's tight with Gay. There's someone who's like, has maybe written a book about town meeting. I think she like.
I know Gabe mentions her name every time.
Yeah.
I can't.
So she was in the meeting and in that conversation about us limiting the amount of money that people could discuss, she said the way you should think about it is that the voters are the legislative branch. We're the executive branch. And the executive branch needs to trust the legislative branch because they are the check on us. So that really reframed the whole thing in my mind. So I think we're gonna need to talk about that. And then the last thing was they felt there was a need to improve communication between the select board and the TMRI committee. And I said that I would commit to making that happen.
So are you on the TMRI committee now?
Yeah, I haven't been appointed by you all, but I think so. Do I need to be appointed to that? I don't know. Yeah, when Catherine was stepping down, there was like a meeting. I said, oh, I can cover that meeting for the board, and then it just, I don't know.
I say just do it. It's fine. Unless people are opposed, but I agree we need to be more tightly aligned. I really feel like we got guidance from them about that cap, and that's why we did it. But then it seemed like,
and they weren't all like, "Hey, select board." They weren't. There was no pointing of fingers at us. There was just like, "Hey, we got a lot of feedback about that. We need to talk about that."
yeah, I'm trying to think how I could have worded it better because there's definitely confusion about
Oh,
it.
that was part of it where they said that it was too last minute, that people showed up and then they were told like, "Hey, before you get into this, just so you know, you can only spend this much money."
Which was the
and
guidance we got.
people
we
didn't
talked about.
And people didn't understand it. They were like, "Wait, so anything that any
Right.
line in there that's
Somehow
over
they thought it meant-
$36,000, you can't talk about."
Yeah,
You can't talk about
like, no,
road-
that's not-
Right. So we just need to get that information out. We need to talk about what we want to do with that, and then get that information out ahead of time and clearly.
Since you're on that committee, one thought I had about that
Yep.
would be to look back at maybe the past 10 or 15 town meetings and see what the biggest addition was. Like, I don't think what we suggested was outrageous in any way compared to what's happened in the past at real town meeting, right? Like, I don't think there was one
Road salt 20 years ago.
where they look to increase the budget by,
No, they took out all the road salt.
yeah. Right, but
Yes.
what I thought
know
it
what
meant
you're
was
saying.
an increase of our budget of more than 1%, which is where the 36,000 came from, right? And that we weren't gonna entertain things more than that. It's just, we've already done this budget process, we're
Yeah,
here.
we're good.
And that was the intent of it, is like no more than that 1%.
Yeah.
Are we gonna consider at this thing? And yeah, it was
And that's
not,
what the town meeting lady said. She said, "You're the executive branch. You can't tell the legislative branch. Not you can't, but you should think of it this way. And you shouldn't be telling the legislative branch. You can only, we've done it best. Don't worry about us. You can
Yeah.
you can dance on the edges if you want, but this is already a done deal." This is kind of how she talked about it.
yeah, I mean, obviously we'll have to talk about it, but it would be interesting to go back
And see
in
what the
history and say, all right, yeah,
changes
the next biggest one was we added, like the biggest one I can think of is we increased the library and,
Town library, right?
salary. I don't remember how much that was, but it was like
That wasn't.
like 15 grand or 12 grand.
It was that, just like 60 to 70, so I think it's 10 grand.
And the last thing is that I'm meeting with Wayne tomorrow just to talk about he was involved in the Deborah Rawson Library's creation.
Oh, yeah.
And I was too, but I just don't remember any of it. And so I'm gonna sit down with him and try and remember, which may or may not, I'm guessing probably not, but might blend into like some kind of brilliant governance idea for me about, hey, you know what we should do?
I've got two different documents on Memorandum of Understanding. So I have
Between the school district and the,
uh
or between Deborah
Rawson
Rawson and
and
Jericho.
library.
Oh, I would love to look at those.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll scan them.
Okay,
I
brilliant.
won't do that till like Monday.
Okay, yep.
But I tell you that the conversations that have been making sense to me have been that we are acting as though we are a municipal library. We own the building, we pay all the insurance on it. We have a town librarian who is a municipal employee. And I think we need to, but that's the direction it's going.
But what's the
in.
missing piece?
Not
It's
to,
municipal?
not to marry
Dissolve the
with
board?
Rawson.
Should we, like,
Or
No.
dissolve the 501(c)(3).
That's what I mean, like dissolve the library board?
They can do the 501(c)(3) as a friends group and take private donations. And those are tax deductible. They're friends of the library group, which they have, but the 501(c)(3) needs to either be given to the friends or that dissolved. I'm not saying any of this is a done deal.
No,
Yeah.
but it sounds like you're saying we're like like
Maybe-
80%, or we're like a significant step towards it just being a municipal library. And probably we should just clean it up and make it that.
I think the biggest thing in supporting that idea is the select board made the decision to make the town librarian a municipal employee. And that was kind of the final. But no, I looked at Richmond has a municipal library.
Mhm.
And they've written a memorandum that says, we're giving this authority to the library trustees who need to be voted now. Like, I don't think they're voted right now.
We vote them in,
We do,
or we appoint them.
Point though.
How often?
but they don't run against each other, right?
We appoint, just like to the planning commission. We
Yeah.
appoint members to that committee.
So it's self-select.
And I think I told somebody once that we didn't, and Paula corrected me, and we do.
So it's not an elected position like.
No,
like
they're
the-
appointed by the select board.
or Something, the select board appoints them. So no one votes for the planning commission. We have an opening, someone says they're interested and we interview them and appoint them. And if two people are interested, I would assume we interview both of them and appoint one of them.
But does the planning commission bring that name forward to say this person,
No,
which is not a great way to do it,
No.
or,
there's a planning commission opening and
Yep.
Paul had the thing
And-
saying, hey, we have openings on the
Okay.
conservation commission and the planning commission and the rec committee.
That's not what your town policy
Contact.
says.
It's, yeah, he's
Town
right.
policy says that the commissions interview candidates and make a recommendation.
And that has been our practice. I didn't know if it was written, but it is generally,
It's certainly how it happens.
it's how it
Yeah.
happens.
so it's a self-select.
Right, so like the Affordable Housing Committee will come to us and say, hey, we want Chuck to be on.
Yeah,
And then Chuck comes in, and I mean, that's the last one we did, so that's why I'm using his
Yeah.
as an example. But that is
we
the
do
practice.
size it, but it is the recommendation of like, they'll come to us and say, we have this person.
We
that's
found
been
somebody, we want to
interested,
put them on.
And then they'll contact our office and I'll say, okay, just attend a couple of meetings, get your feel for if you do wanna be on a committee. They make, the chair makes the recommendation that yes, they wanna be on here, and then the board approves them or appoints them.
But there's also no search for candidates if someone wants to re-up. It's basically a tenured position.
True.
So at the end of the end of someone's term does not leave an opening.
Right.
You say you want to
Right.
re-up, sure.
Yeah.
re-up.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
just approved like 15
Fifty
people.
more,
with
yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of one vote.
Yeah, so it continues the
That's-
self-selecting,
Mhm.
you fit that's true for the library trustees as
Yep.
well. You fit what.
There were
we
library
want.
trustees on that list.
You fit what the
What the
trustees
libraries
currently
want.
want, yeah, and rather than making it people just.
Yeah.
Nominate themselves.
Yeah.
And,
The- Which at least sounds, or maybe is. Corrupt and insider trading, but in reality, nobody wants to do, like, we have
Right,
finding
exactly,
people.
yes,
Right,
yeah,
finding
yeah,
people to
that's-
do these positions, so.
But also, I would argue the system is working. I mean, we have really strong committees and commissions. I mean. I don't. I think,
Planning commission, we have nobody who lives in the village center, no one who's a renter, no one who lives in multifamily housing, 3 people whose properties abut each other. I mean,
and,
very inbred.
and it's a really strong group of really committed people. You may disagree, but that's been my experience.
okay, back to the library. So yes, Richmond has a memorandum with the library trustees to say, you know, this is where we have authority, but we're giving you authority to supervise the librarian. So that's kind of what I'm looking at.
This is the memorandum for
Okay.
Catherine.
Okay, good. All right, so that's my update.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, my big update was the wastewater one. I don't think I have anything else.
Mine's for executive session.
Oh, we have one tonight,
Oh,
or do we?
I
I didn't know we did.
well, we don't,
I mean,
it's more, it's.
We never don't, so I figured we had.
Just figured we had one, because we always. have
Might
one.
well, okay.
Oh, do we need one? I mean,
It
sounds like
it's a
she's-
2-minute update.
okay.
Paula, do you have any update?
don't.
All right. Next on the agenda is approve the warrants, which I believe we've all done. Next on the agenda after that is approve the meeting minutes of March 19th, 26.
I have
Are those in the packet?
They
Yeah.
are-
yeah,
They're just further down.
I read them, but they are. I read them, but I read them ahead of time. I don't
Cause what she did is she did the January.
know. No. I
Yeah.
know where they are. Just
I have
Yeah,
a
I read
minor
them.
correction. Line 105.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yes.
I was the one who suggested that, not Tom. He may very well agree.
I read that, and I don't know why I didn't write it down, but I'm like, I guess maybe it was Tom Barabal.
Okay.
Okay, I did catch that, yeah.
Give Chris the credit that he's.
No, I'm not looking for credits,
Yeah,
for the record.
Okay.
I literally just thought I remembered wrong. I'm like, boy, I thought that was Chris, but yeah, I guess Tom's up to speed on Chip. Others?
no.
Work was spelled correctly every time. So
Nice.
That's what I was trying for.
Okay.
No. Oh, I make a motion to approve the minutes that are dated
March 19th.
March 19th
As amended.
as amended.
I will second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Before we go into executive session, one last thing. Should we give an update about the JCDC? Just informational about
Oh, I forget. That would
the.
have
Yeah, I
been a
forgot
good
about it.
update.
Right. I can do that real quick.
Yeah,
which is-
go ahead.
Just real quick so as you probably recall last time, Joe brought forward a drawing based on the feedback from Habitat, which had the house sort of strangely pinned up next to the other house for a real short driveway. He brought 2 more drawings to the JCDC, both of which I have pictures of, but the short version is basically 2 drawings with the new house behind the old house. And some different land configurations, and we had him, we said we like this one better than this one. Go back to Habitat and say we'd like this one. If you really don't like that one, how about this one? And if they say no to both of those, then I don't want to misspeak, but I think we said then we're gonna move on to something else. But we're not gonna work with Habitat. We say that or not?
I don't know if we even
It wasn't like
clarified that. I
was
think
just
it was.
Go say we want this one. If you don't like that, we want this one. And if you say no to both of those, we're gonna regroup.
We'll
JCs will regroup and figure out what's next.
And if they do like one of those, then we, the JCDC, will bring that to this board and see if you guys approve, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
What did the fire department decide about using the house? Do we know? Have
They're gonna do
decided?
it.
Oh, they are?
Yep.
Okay.
Did we approve it?
Yep.
That's what happened at that meeting?
Mhm.
I thought they were gonna go ask the neighbors first, or.
I think that
Oh,
as
that was
part
that
of
was part
what they're gonna
yeah,
do.
yeah.
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 Peter, can you do the honors?
I'd love to. I'd like to make a motion to go to executive session because premature disclosure of, I have it open, I'm not gonna look at it, premature disclosure of. Yeah, no,
The information.
of the information would be detrimental for the parties involved. I'll get it down, and I'd like to invite Paula Holstein.
For reasons of,
Legal.
Oh, thank you, for reasons of legal.
I second that.
all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Good night, everybody.
Night.